Okay, guys, let's start lesson 7. I'll leave the slides here on the left, and if we need take a closer look, we'll do it. Okay, so we're going to do two things in this class. So first, we're going to learn a little more quickly about styles. Then we get into menus and other kinds of navigation. Okay. So start new project, call it pizza app. Okay, mine's called pizza app 3 because I already have a few others. Keep it everything else as it is and hit finish. Okay, so as you know, it's loading. It's doing the first time being built. But on the next slide, we're going to take a look at the manifest. This is really important, so take a look at this a little carefully because we're going to start using this a little bit more now. So let's take a look at the manifest here. So some things you have in the manifest. You have the icon. We have two options here. So that's the basic one and that's the round version. Depending on what kind of cell phone and the launcher, which is like the style for the cell phone, you can have a different, you can use one or the other. Okay. Android label. This is clearly the wrong thing. Yes, I went to the wrong one. Sorry. So back here, our manifest. Yeah. Android label is going to be a friendly name for the app. You can see that when I clicked it, it showed that is stored as a string. So if you go to string, you're going to find a string with the name app name. And this is what's coming here. Android theme is going to be the theme that is applied to this to the app. So what kind of colors and what kind of general visual it has. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit today about the themes first. Because you can do a couple of different things. So first, you could just type in here a different kind of theme. Let me try and see if it gives me a different option. Yes, see, it gives me a few different apps, few different themes I can apply here. I'll keep the same one because unless you want to know exactly what they are, this is going to be a little trickier. The second thing you can do, you can go straight into another resource file that we haven't used yet. So in resources, values, we have the styles thing. And as you can see here, you can have the main colors that are used in this layout. And we could either change these colors here, or we can change these colors down into another resource file, which is called colors. Okay. So first thing, let's say I want to have a different color there, or so I'll just add here one. Let's call it color name red, because it's going to be red. And this is RGB. You can find these hexadecimal colors, color codes anywhere online. So for red, yeah, I'm just going to leave the first two as F, all the rest as 0. Okay. How can I apply this color in my layout? I'll just come back to style and I'll call instead of color primary, I'll apply red. Okay, you can see it's already changed here. And if we go to our layout, let's check our main activity here and check the design. Oh, it won't show. Let's run to see if it's going to show something for us. Here's an old one, still loading. Yes, okay. So you can see that when you change the primary color is basically the color of the bar up here. Okay, I'll even leave it like that. That's okay. That's not going to affect the rest of our work at all. Okay, good. Second thing we're going to be doing today, we're going to be working with menus, and we're going to create some menus and some actions. We're going to see a little bit more how that works. Okay, so basically the idea is sometimes you can have a different icon straight in your menu. Okay, so we have some icons here. These icons are called actions. We're going to add one here to open another activity. First thing, you're going to create a new menu resource file. Menus are another kind of resources you can add. We don't have a folder for them right now, so they are not created by default, but you can just add a new one. So new Android resource file. Okay, we are going to choose the resource type as menu. What did I say? I said to call it menu. Okay, that's it. So once I did that, it straight away created the folder and the file I wanted. Let's add some actions. So you can see that here. So and pay attention, this is a menu resource file, that's not a layout. So once my palette here is different, I have these other things. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is add directly a menu item. Okay, so just dragging here, it shows right there. Okay, once this is dragged in, go to the attributes. We're going to set an ID. So order, title. Remember, titles are text that are going to appear. If you're going to add text, what you have to do? Go back to the resources, project, values, strings, open editor, add a new one. That's it. Go back to the menu and choose it here. Okay, the next step, to choose an icon, I'm going to choose the one that looks like a plus sign, because we're going to use this to add an order. That's here. The next thing I need to do, the show as action. We need to define as always. To do that, you click here and select always. That's it. I'll just leave the rest of the options as we had here, and that's it. Okay. If I run it now, it won't work yet. Okay. So what we're going to do is get this menu ready to work. To do that, main activity, .java. Okay, so what we need to do to make our menu work, we need to inflate it. So to do that, we're going to add it right after onCreate. So I'm going to add this method here. Okay, it's showing an error because we need a return statement, so don't worry about that right now. Whoops, and this was an error. So so just to let you guys know, I had a little cut here because I was having an error with the following thing. When entering this line here, it was throwing me an error saying that menu, this first one, didn't exist. If you have that problem, just close the project and reopen it. Once you reopen it, Android Studio will recognize this menu. Okay. After that, just add a return true. That's going to solve those little red squiggly lines here, and we can test your app right now. Okay, and I already have my action showing up here. For now, if I click it, it won't do anything because I didn't add any programming for that. Okay, let's move on. Slide 16. So we're going to add another order that we are going to open from the menu. File, new, activity, empty activity. Let's call it order activity. We're going to have a layout file, everything exactly as it is. Click finish. Okay, so I create it, and now I go back to main activity. Okay, now to make our action open a new activity, here's what we're going to do. We're going to add this new method here to main activity. Okay. So what we're doing here is creating this switch. Switch is pretty much like a sequence of ifs and elses, but it's normally more practical for more values. So that's why we're starting here, because it could have a menu with multiple items inside. Okay, that's it. So this should be working. So let's run it. Okay, as you can see now, when I clicked it, it went straight there. I can go back through here, and then I go to our order activity. Okay, you notice that to go back, I'm using the back in the device. Okay, this is not such a great practice. I mean, the least your user has to depend on things outside the app, the better. So what we're going to do is to add a back button in this activity here. Okay, so read this carefully. This is the theory behind that. And so how do we add this navigation inside? We go straight to the manifest. One more thing we do in the manifest. So as you can see here, we have two activities so far. We have the main activity, which is all this, and we have order activity. Okay? Careful every time you're going to play with the manifest. It doesn't have so much error support, so you make a mistake, it takes forever to notice, and a single letter in the wrong place will make your app unusable. Okay, so be careful here. So what we're going to do is edit this first line so that it looks like this. So let me start by entering an enter here. Then I'm going to add everything between this and this. I'm going to start with an Android label. Now we have a problem here because I'm going to add a label, so something to show there as a title for the activity, but I haven't created this string yet. So let's go back to our strings and add the value here. Open editor. I'll call this one order activity, and I'll give it a nice text like place your order. Good. Now I have this here. Let's go back to our manifest as soon as I find it here. Okay, so I'll set this as string order activity. Next one, Android, and I keep choosing the wrong thing. Parent activity name. So parent activity name is the activity that is above this. Okay, when you look at the or all the activities in this. So which comes before that? So we only have two activities. This is order. The one that comes before is main activity. Okay, that's it. With this, once I run it, I'm going to have this back arrow here. Let's try it. Okay, it's already in place and working. Can go back, forward, back. Okay. Now so we already can make one menu item to navigate between different activities. Now we're going to add a share button. Okay, that's common in most apps. This kind of symbol here. So the idea is that you can have something that you have in your app and send it out to other. Okay, let's see how to do that. So we're going to our resource files menu. Let's add a new menu resource file. We'll call it order menu. And leave everything else, click it OK. Let's close this to have more space. Okay, so to do this, we're going to be working with inside the XML directly. So instead of using the palette, I'm going to come straight here to show the code. So these are menu already, okay? What I'm gonna do, I'm going to add one item. So add this just to open and close it. Now let's get back here and add it to make it look like we have here. So first thing, Android ID, and we're going to create an ID here. So we'll use the first one and call it action share. Then Android title. Here again, it's interesting to do that in the example. My bad. The best thing again to go back into our strings and add it there. So let's open the editor. So let's call this share. Go back. Oops. Order menu, and then select a string share. Okay. Remember that we always do that because if you ever, it's easier. If you want to change one word all over your app, you just have to change once in one place. Okay, so it makes your app maintenance easier. So app. And as you can see, it's in red directly. It asks me for an alt enter. Once I do that, it adds the second line here. So app, show as action. I'm going to choose the first one. So if there's space. And the last one, app action provider class. So this, we're going to choose the first one, Android X app compat. Okay, this is the more up-to-date version. Okay, with this, our menu is ready, and you can see that it already shows here as share. So let's go to order activity. Okay, we're going to add a share action provider. The action for sharing is a little bit different from the actions we created before. So we have to take some other steps, like this. So first we have to create this. Pretty straightforward. And we have to add this import here. You can see that automatically I have the wrong class imported. Okay, it gets a legacy version, older one. So what we're going to do here is change this to Android X dot app compat dot widget share action provider. Okay, make sure to check this. This is very important. Okay. After that, we have to do as we done before to inflate the menu. That's it. Okay, so basically I just copied everything that was on the slide. Okay, what I'm going to do to add here now is just to add the intent so that you can uh, get some content. Well, you guys should know how intents work so far, so I'm not gonna talk too much about that. Okay, so this is just like we've been doing over and over to send information between activities. Okay, so the only thing that's going to be different here is that's going to set this intent to the share action provider. That's it. Okay, here, let's test it. Okay, so it has an extra thing here from my original picture, no problem. Click here, and you can already see a whole lot of other options you can have. Okay, so I could send a message, I could open Gmail, I can even send that to my other app. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that other app I created for the filter example, it receives the text. Okay, you could send that to Gmail too. I didn't show Gmail because it would have to set it up, and haven't done that in this emulator yet. Okay, that's it. This is lesson 7. I hope this makes it easier for you guys. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.